Hello, hi, welcome. Thank you for being here. Let's get you some clarity. I feel like we should start with something weird. This is the character oracle. I do not use it very often, but let's see what personalities overall we are dealing with right now in your energy. And remember, this is a timeless collective reading, so see what feels like it fits, like it resonates for you, and always follow and trust that divine guidance that's in you, that connection to your higher self, to God, to source, to the universe, because the answer is in you. And try to make balanced decisions between logic and intuition. So your decisions are sound, they're based in love, and for the highest and greatest good of everyone. So we are all uplifted in love. Let's begin and see what the prominent personalities are. Now, this could be you, this could be somebody thinking about you, this could also be somebody you are thinking about. So let's see what God, Source, Holy Spirit, Christ consciousness, our higher selves, angels and energies of love, have for the highest and greatest good of all. Actually, it's a non-personality, which is kind of interesting. It's in an empty, it's called the empty space. Isn't there a Taylor Swift song called like Blank Space? Maybe something in those lyrics. Maybe this is the void in between a transition of who you're hanging out with or connected to. Maybe you feel like you were left in the dark, or that's how someone else feels. I'm not getting necessarily negative energy though. I feel like maybe you needed to create space for the right person to come in, especially if you felt kind of tethered to somebody in the past and you know that door was closed, even if it was a non-closure situation. So actually, let's clarify this, because it's kind of a weird one that came through. Let's go to the energy. Let's see what the overall energy is with this card number 78, the blank space. So this is more of a place and not a personality. It could also be where you're not getting much information from someone, or I'm kind of getting, when you ask somebody usually a really difficult question and they just don't say anything. It's almost like they're thinking about what they would possibly say and they don't realize how much space has gone by not answering. Maybe that's something that occurred recently for some of you. Let's ask what the energy is. What is the energy of 78? The blank space. Show you that. It does kind of look like a little bit of a, I don't know, it looks at first like a flame, but it could also be a ghosting situation for some of you. Breadcrumbing. I just heard it's time to move on. That's not easy if you've been hurt and you just are really confused as to what happened or did not happen. So let's see. Clarify the energy of this blank space. Oh yeah. Okay, so it's more along the lines of the last messages that came through. Somebody is feeling this energy of anxiety. That could be you or somebody else, but this did come out upside down. So maybe that is being released. Maybe you're finally feeling better in your own energy, in your own space, what you are doing with all that extra time that you have. But if this is the other way around and somebody is feeling a lot of worry, anxiety, overthinking, I just heard procrastination, then I am sort of seeing that whatever the situation is, maybe it is, the more space that goes by, the more this anxiety is actually building up for somebody. That might not be you. Maybe you're the one that's like, all right, door is closed, we're going to move on. That was weird. What else can I do now? But there is an energy here that's in a lot of anxiety, or perhaps this, I just keep hearing the moving on. And I feel like something's going to open the door to that room or whatever it is, roll the big ball that was in front of the cave. And I feel like there's going to be more light. So I do feel like I'm getting kind of, that's you. You're going to start to feel lighter. And I hear in touch. So maybe some of you are getting in touch with someone. but I'm kind of getting that's more in touch and in tune with you. Let's get another one from this one. Let's go kind of back and forth now. What's another prominent energy space or personality right now in the current collective's world or energy? What would be the most helpful thing to have a focus or know about? I gotta cover this up for YouTube, even though I actually really do like this picture. I find it so silly that a drawing has to be covered up. But anyway, she has very nice boobs. So it is somebody that was disconnected. Maybe you felt disconnected from somebody over here. You felt disconnected in yourself. Maybe this anxiety are even built up to, I'm getting like a stomach churn all of a sudden. I'm also getting that maybe it's not all of, maybe for some of you it is all the time, but I'm getting that it kind of sneaks up, maybe flares up a little more here and there. You have the disconnected. There's somebody caught between the day and the night, the air and the water, but they're not really in anything. So I am getting that this is a cause, but this anxiety was caused by somebody who wasn't in alignment. Maybe they didn't even realize they were in the dark. It's like they don't have one foot in any tangible area in their life at all. They're kind of like half in here, half out there, half in over there, quarter in over there. And I feel like this is somebody that's not in touch with being in the now. I'm getting that this is somebody that wherever they are, their mind or their heart is definitely somewhere else. So I feel like the question is, why aren't they there? Maybe they cannot be. But I hear procrastination again. So maybe they could be if they take steps towards it. So maybe this is somebody that's having anxiety about change. It's also different. It's like there's an island here and a city here. It could also be a masculine and feminine energy and maybe a female stuck in between. Because I see the sun and the moon or silver and gold, yin and yang. So I gotta kind of put this over here so we don't have the boobs pop up on YouTube. Let's get the energy of the disconnected. Maybe I'm even getting like, I know this is really silly. This is not a huge deal situation, but I feel like some of you even were talking to somebody on the phone and maybe they went through a weird, no signal zone or something like that, or somebody's phone cut off because the battery died. And I feel like that might not be a big situation, but that has caused anxiety in someone because you're like, oh, what happened? Where'd they go? And you try to call back or, text them and you don't get an answer. I do feel like if that's a small little situation for some of you, don't get overwhelmed by anxiety and, think of the worst scenarios possible, because I feel like for the most part, it is not those worst scenarios. It is probably something that has an easy explanation. I also feel like some of you feel a little hurt that you think somebody doesn't want to talk to you. And in that empty space, that really bothers you. But I feel like maybe somebody doesn't have as much empty space and they are actually pretty busy. So I see sidetracked. So I'm not getting for all of you. It's not that they don't want to speak to you, but they don't have the time. So maybe somebody just needs a little space. And now if you are the one, perhaps unbeknownst to you until this reading, maybe causing somebody anxiety, if this is somebody tending to overanalyze or worries about a lot, maybe you can ease, since that did come up upside down, ease somebody's, stress level a little bit by maybe just saying, everything is fine. I'll call you when I get a chance. You don't have to make it a long drawn out conversation, but maybe just a little response or, hello explanation is going to be really helpful if you are the one that can do that. So let's see. Let's get the energy around the disconnected. It's also a number 7. So that is where somebody, if they get reconnected and in alignment with, I do hear destiny really big, but that's that spiritual energy with the 7. It's very powerful. But this person's also naked. So when I see a naked body, I usually see that as vulnerability, authenticity, and one's true self. There's no mask. There's no bikini here. It's just somebody, you know, in their birthday suit. So maybe somebody is getting more connected with learning who they really are. And that could be a dark night of the soul situation that somebody is going through. I just heard stripping away insecurities. So let's ask about the energy. What's the energy with the disconnected? Somebody is stripping away their insecurities. They're getting more grounded instead of floating around in la la land over here. And somebody is getting help from Archangel Michael. This is really big strength. And I looked at that at 1111. So 1111, and what is this number? And this is number 35, which takes you from a 7 to an 8. Interesting. Look at this. 7 breaks down to 8. 70. Where is it? Where's the number? 78. And if you take that 18, that comes to a 9. So I feel like there is progression. You know, the numerology here is 7, 8, 9. Chariot, starting to move in the right direction. 8, something coming back around, but building abundance. It's power. That's also power. It's manifestation. It's abundance. To the 9, to an almost ending, almost completion. And maybe because this is the first chakra, coming back around to the I am energy. You know, the root chakra is somebody dealing with what grounds them. Sometimes that's just survival. I just heard survival of the fittest, but it should be thriving, not just surviving, getting by. So this is maybe somebody dealing with their roots, their heritage, their family, what they were taught. It could also be somebody that's focused on, it's like inner power. It could also be sexuality. You know, you think of the first chakra, it is procreation, but I feel like with these numbers, maybe somebody is looking at that. It's more divine. I don't know why I see somebody just wanting to leave their mark. Something's switched, something's flipped. Somebody sees more power and spirituality or in depth. So let's see. Let's go back to the other one. These are kind of interesting. So let's get one more and then we will switch to something totally different. So what is a final? Now you could do this since I'm pulling 3 here as all of the sides of a coin. All right, what is another prominent energy or personality? That was so quick. Ooh, you got a little electricity. So it looks like somebody has like such a high energetic field here that they're actually doing aerokinesis. I don't know what it would be called if you can control electricity. Sometimes people just have a high vibration and they turn off lights, street lights, or like electronics go wonky. So you do have this. Rose wants to come up here with me. You do have the electricity. Maybe there's a little spark, a little recharging in a situation. Maybe somebody felt like they were totally unplugged before, and now somebody is. It's interesting because they're not disconnecting. Maybe they're connecting something into the right socket. And I don't know why I just thought of like one of those solar devices where it has like all the little gadgets you need, a flashlight and everything, you know, all the little plugs, but you can either charge it by solar light and or cranking it. Maybe something is about to be wound up or somebody's less wound up. Rose wants to come up here. Let me grab her. It's interesting. When I look at this card closer, they're actually roses. They're like roses in a field, and there's electricity literally moving through the fibers of that plant, or all of the plants. Look at the electricity in this person's eyes. I just thought of, I've got one hand in my pocket and the other one giving a peace sign. This guy looks casual. Actually, his electricity is pink. So there's something about this electricity being, connected to love. But that white, the white has all of the spectrums of the chakras, which I feel like was lacking before when somebody was disconnected. It looks like somebody is now one with nature. And it's like, instead of parting the Red Sea here, you're parting this field of roses. So I guess if you tried to push your way through a field of roses, you'd probably get pricked with some of those thorns. But it looks like this person is just in tune with the nature of paving or parting his or her own path. I do feel like this is somebody's energetic field, but maybe I see that the eyes, though, it's like they got the like a new vision, a new spiritual vision, and that's 35. So that's another 8. I need to take a sip of my tea with my favorite mug, by the way. I just want to know, I got this mug for Christmas years ago, and is one of the best gifts, this homemade mug. Maybe some of you do pottery. I'll let you look at it. It's something about the shape and the weight. And I tell you, I have other mugs, and this is the only one I want to use. I don't care that it's not the holidays. So, and it's interesting. I have red tea today. So maybe there's somebody that has a connection to South Africa. Let's just continue. I don't usually drink tea on camera, but I felt like I needed tea. So let's get an energetic. I just heard imprint. An energetic understanding on the electricity. What is the overall energy around the electricity? Please and thank you. Oh, guess what? Guess what it is? It's actually a storm warning. So maybe an extra note here is if if you guys, maybe I did see, interesting, because I saw that solar powered thing. So maybe an extra note if some of you perhaps are going to have some weird actual weather soon. Maybe get some candles, have matches, have extra water, maybe a generator, or at least one of those things so you can be in communication. Maybe because look, you got the empty space here. Something is in the dark. So I feel like that is a message for some of you. Maybe some of you have to, not overly worry. Don't be in anxiety land. Just be efficient about, hey, if anything happens, the electricity goes out, the weather gets weird, you are prepared. Because I am getting that maybe there is someone around you that is not. Maybe you can be helpful by a little extra. Because a storm warning. There is something maybe there's like this. It's like a tornado. It's lightning. Maybe even a big wave. It doesn't look like it's a tsunami, but it does look like there is a rough ocean here. So maybe I did see the parting of the sea. Maybe somebody does hydrokinesis. I mean, those are big energies, but I feel like there's safety. I mean, you got Archangel Michael coming here to make sure, you have the strength you need to handle anything. But I am getting maybe this storm warning might not be actual weather. Maybe it is energetic weather, since these are energy cards. And now you got the 10, 7, 8, 9. There's our 10. It could be that the storm is blowing over, or somebody had to see how they could handle that storm differently. There could also be somebody that maybe emotionally creates those storms if they're rough, rough patches, rough storms. Storm warning. You're getting a warning now. So I do feel like it's electricity, even if even sometimes the weather says, oh, it's going to be 70 and sunny, it's fine. And then you go outside and you kind of like, you can like smell or feel that electricity in the air, you know, before the clouds get all weird. And you're like, no, something's brewing. Something's going to happen. Or the wind got a little weird all of a sudden. Trust yourself. Trust how you energetically, electrically feel. We are energetic beings. I'm also getting that some of you should ground yourself. I mean, this girl's like floating over here in La La Land, but a good way to ground yourself is to take off your shoes and actually touch the earth. Stand on a rock. But if you feel like there's too much electricity in the air, maybe that's not the time to go outside shoeless. So let's clarify. I want to see what's going on with all of this. Anxiety, empty space. We're going to kind of cover that a little bit. All right, let me put these over here, get myself organized. Actually, I have this here. I want to do archetypes because they're big. And I looked at that 21 like the world. Oh, Rose, are you? Oh, she's here, by the way. She's right here on the chair, taking up half of it. Did I bring it? I know I did. I feel like an archetype is needed maybe as a segue. But I will read from the book because the book is beautiful and wise and deep. So let's get one overall current archetype energy. Usually these, they're deep, but they're also lessons. So what is the current archetype that would be the most helpful on anxiety? Storm warning, first chakra, Archangel Michael, the disconnected, the electricity, and the empty space. I find it really interesting that I went for personalities, and it's not really about a personality. It's more situational, energetic here. So what is the main archetype? The offering. I'm kind of getting very ace of all the suits in the tarot with this, because there's usually a hand, like a hand from God coming out of the clouds as an offering. Ace of Cups, you know, the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Rods. So maybe there is a beginning. This hand is just kind of coming out of the darkness, but stretched towards what feels like not just storm clouds like over here, but they're like, I don't know, a spectrum of color. And then there's kind of a new moon energy. So let's see what it is. The offering. Where's my book? I hope I have the book. I know I do. I know I brought it somewhere. Here. All right, so let's look at LXIV. Rose keeps twitching over here. What you doing, Rose? I mean, she did just kind of chill and settle. LXIV is the offering. All right, so let's see. Unlike many of the other cards in this deck, the offering carries a clear as day message and a call to action. I mean, you do have Archangel Michael here. It's the one. It's the I am. It is the action-oriented card. As you may have guessed, it is time for something to be given or given up. For the sake of the bigger picture, if anything comes to mind immediately, though it's likely it will, take time and meditation to consider what must be offered and who it is to receive it. It's likely you'll feel attachment and hesitancy. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Look at what it says. Attachment and hesitancy. You have the anxiety here. You'll make excuses. And let me cover her gorgeous boobs. But recognize the link between the word sacrifice. Oh wait, I missed it. Yes. You'll feel attachment and you'll make excuses, but recognize the link between the word sacrifice and the word sacred. One leads to the other. When we offer up something for the greater good, we lighten our load and become more able to serve. Imagine for a moment if you were to offer your whole self unconditionally to the world. For now, start small. So it's somebody that has to offer, but it's the offering in the right place, because you're supposed to think about who is getting it. So it's telling you to start small. It's generosity, donation, volunteering. When it's dark, it's giving with expectations. It's like, here you go, I'm going to give this. And then you're thinking in your mind, oh, what are they going to give me back? Are they going to give me just as good a gift for my birthday? No, that's not true, unconditional giving. But with this giving energy, you do have to realize if you are giving to somebody that is expecting, if you are giving to somebody that is not appreciative, if you are giving to somebody constantly and you are being drained, it is telling you you have to release something with that energy of sacredness. If somebody is not making you feel peace with what all you have to give, then you can take back that offering, because you're going to find another place where it's who's receiving it. It feels more like it's the gift to give it there than you feel like somebody's taking advantage of your truth or your time or your effort or your love or your wisdom, because that can just be draining. So it says, go deeper. Odin's sacrifice of his eye in Norse mythology. All right, so let's continue. Let's use that as a segue. Let me go grab, I feel like maybe we should grab the Lenormand, but I gotta grab it on my shelf over there. I'll be right back. Let's use the Lenormand and clarify these three. Let's use these as the three prominent foundational focus points today. They might be different situations. They could also be, because we had that progression of energy, a progression of energy. So clarify the disconnected and first chakra, Archangel Michael. You have a fountain. Number 42, that takes you to a 6, which I see as balance in love. I feel like the fountain somehow is bigger than the chalice. It also looks like this particular fountain is both frozen and flowing at the same time. This is where, if somebody was disconnected, you have Archangel help here getting you plugged back in, because it's renewal. So if there was a dark space, a weird period or point, a lull, a frozen time like winter, then something will feel plugged back in. Something will melt if the ice was frozen before. It's rejuvenation. It's also a cleansing energy. So maybe if there is somebody that felt totally disconnected, it is, you have the storm. I always think of rain as a cleanse, crying as a cleanse, even not keeping in what somebody is overthinking about or going through with anxiety, but actually letting it out as a cleanse. A dark night of the soul is a big ass cleanse. So, that's really nice. That's what's going to change here. So let's look at what anxiety and I guess we went a little bass backwards, but it's okay. Let's see, number 18, anxiety. Number 78, the empty space. Interesting, because there's also a storm. I feel like that is an extra message for some of you. There's a storm brewing outside. I don't know. I actually see lightning hitting something. Because you got lightning, you got lightning, you have electricity here. So I don't know how that's helpful for you, but I definitely see that. And it also looks like, I know it's just the color, but it does look like that color specifically looks like a patina, which is what copper looks like when it oxidizes, which can actually be, it can actually protect the copper, but maybe there's something that oxidized, or I don't know, maybe even something with metals. Now I'm just thinking of an actual lightning rod. So clarify the blank space and anxiety, please and thank you. What is that about? What's going on? Well, that's also metal. You got a bird cage. So maybe because these went backwards or backwards, as I like to say, you started with this limitation kind of energy where somebody was restricted, where there was somebody, I mean, that would make somebody big anxiety if they, you know, felt empty because they just felt trapped in a bird cage, not able to use those beautiful wings, had too many restrictions. Sometimes this, if it's a storm warning, it could very well be a tower moment as well. It could be a big argument. It could be a huge epiphany. It could be a gigantic realization on how somebody is actually not restricted. Somebody stepping into empowerment. And releasing that bird from the cage. Maybe a bluebird specifically is important. Or a blue jay. I feel like somebody doesn't want to feel trapped. Maybe you felt trapped in the dark, unclear, unhinged, waiting for the shoe to drop. Is that a thing? Or the rug to be pulled out? Sometimes it's just good to pull out the mess, address it, and that can be a release. I do feel like somebody wants to say something and they're not expressing their truth. I mean, I feel like somebody, I know this is different, I feel like somebody's always offering what somebody else wanted to hear instead of what they really like believe or how they really feel. So let's see what the storm warning is all about with the 35 electricity. Give us a little more clarity on the storm warning, please. You got a mirror. This storm warning is somebody having some huge self-realization on something that needs to change. Maybe they had to do that in like a hermit energy here on their own. How to part the way through a stormy situation, learn to smell the roses instead, be in the now. A mirror is self-awareness and perception. So maybe somebody was just not self-aware before. Maybe you are becoming self-aware, but seeing how somebody else is mirroring you, because that's a reflection of what they are going through or how they really feel about themselves. And it's not the truth of you, it's their projection of you. Also number 43. Yeah, so now you have a 40, 42, and 43. Reflection. Maybe you need to look at how you reflect or how you react in stormy situations. Here, this person has everything under complete control. Sometimes you have to handle yourself amongst the chaos. You can always choose how you react, what you do. You cannot control how somebody else feels, how somebody else reacts, or what they do, or if they have self-reflection, self-awareness, self-responsibility, or not. So I feel like somebody's whole perception is changed. I stared at that's at the bottom. I did say something about the fountain being kind of cooler or bigger than the chalice. Well, the chalice is the undercurrent here, which is maybe somebody has an emotional situation, overhaul, which means somebody's getting more in tune with their emotions and not repressing them and not, I hear lashing out. It's somebody using their intuition, whatever I said before with Archangel Michael and the root and sensuality and such. This is somebody tapping into a spiritual energy now. So 39, 40, 42, 43, the chalice is emotions, intuition, and spiritual fulfillment. Somebody's disconnected between their higher self, their intuitions and their reality of the roots of what they do every day, they're going to be disconnected. They're not going to feel how much power is in the chrysalis of their DNA and their soul. They're always going to fill in a void with things, common goals, or what they thought was the prettiest cage, but always felt caged in because they're filling in that void with things that aren't tapping into their soul or their truth. And now I'm going back to that true destiny thing. So they're always going to feel empty. But this is definitely somebody who's not wanting to feel or not going to feel empty much longer. I also feel like this offering might be divine, because I still feel like that's a hand from God. Like, here you go. Take a sip of this. See if that fulfills you. How about that thing that always brought you joy? How about you start doing that today? Filling in that space a little bit. See if that fulfills your soul. If you don't know what that big joy thing is, what's made you a little curious lately? What do you keep feeling like you want to go down that rabbit hole or learn more about? Start there. We'll give you your next clue to take you to that huge opportunity that really feels fulfilling. Like, you wake up every day and you're like, yeah, I get to do that today. So what did I bring? I brought the Angel Tarot. Let's just overall clarify, because I feel like I have these all different, ways. So let's just see what comes through on the fountain, the birdcage, the mirror, the chalice, Archangel Michael, anxiety, the offering, I almost lost it. The electricity, the disconnected, and what is that? The blank space. What is the main energy right now that would be the most helpful? The main energy is anxiety. So, but also this flipped out, my perspective upside down. So also, because you do have this loving energy here, where is it? This one, emotions. Somebody could be a little overwhelmed, because I see that, I know I read it really different, but I kind of see that the Nine of Swords upside down is still somebody not getting enough sleep, or kind of still being a little on edge, but it's because they're replaying amazing things. That one time that they got out of the bird cage and they felt at peace, where, they were in the now or with a certain person, or they felt like they were always plugged in a certain environment, and they wish to have that again. So they keep recreating those beautiful moments in their mind, but not taking any action to get them there, or to get something that is maybe not a cookie cutter example, but a recreation of that emotion, that feeling. And so it's still causing a little bit of anxiety. But if this is upright, it's somebody in worryland. It's somebody that doesn't sleep well, and that usually causes stress on somebody's body. I also feel like this is where somebody isn't addressing something in the day, because usually this is nighttime. Somebody maybe isn't following their intuition, or they were offered a beautiful gift from the divine to help get them on their path, and they let fear take over, or they disconnected themselves from that situation. And even if during their day they plug themselves into many different areas of their life, their daily duties, what they have to get done, filling in all that blank space as much as they can, so they do not think about that thing that they lost out of, then, or never accepted, or never went back to, and their subconscious or spirit is sneaking on in at night, reminding you didn't want to think about this in the day. You're trying to push it away. You're trying to fill in that space, but you know what? You need to think about it, because your intuition is trying to help you in the situation, not keep you where you feel overwhelmed and trapped, unplugged, detached, and where you're around people that mirror maybe whack energy. You should be around people that mirror that beautiful light back to you. But first you have to believe in your own inner power and believe that beautiful inner strong light is the truth of you. So Nine of Swords, it also has an angel here. It's like there's a sheep and all these crows. Maybe there is somebody that's overwhelmed of a transition. You do have Or is it not transition, but you have this, which is renewal, rejuvenation, and a cleansing. This angel is helping with a situation. I feel like somebody definitely was overwhelmed. It could also be where somebody is just not comfortable in their environment. Let's see. Clarify Nine of Swords. Why is Nine of Swords here? That went back. I'm not going to take it. Clarify Nine of Swords, please, and thank you. Woo! So somebody wants to be in smoother waters. That big old storm, where is it? That big old storm will blow over. That sea will become more calm. Somebody will be not mentally confused over here, but mentally clear about any lesson that had to be learned or storm they had to go through or how to plug yourself back in or feel more in alignment. There is actually, it looks like an angel is actually pointing the right way. Sometimes this is taking a trip, going over water. It's movement energy where you feel more mentally clear about any kind of emotional situation because you are going over the ocean. Maybe you're finally catching the right wave. You've learned to use your sails. You lift up the heavy baggage that was tethering you to the bird cage on that dock that you knew, and you do something a different way here, even if a storm blows, because you learned your lesson. So are you going to repeat it where it didn't work the same way, or did you go through something, or whoever this is go through something where you're like, that didn't work last time, maybe I'm going to try it a different way, maybe this will make things smoother. But this is somebody who wants to move along. They don't want to stay stuck where everything's all uncomfortable over here. Maybe this is because somebody has learned to truly value who they are. Whoever this Empress is, whether it is you or somebody you admire or are connected to, this is the divine feminine energy. Knowing, I mean, she does it all. She doesn't need anyone else to verify how divine her soul is, how strong she is, what she can accomplish, how she can birth new ideas and chapters in her life, or, humans. It's Mother Nature. So even after that birth or the incubation stage, now we even go back farther. It's that, I did say something about sexuality or sensuality. She's gonna be in that where it's divine, where it's deep, and nurture herself in that process. Let's just go with pregnancy here. Maybe somebody is pregnant or wants to be, or thinking about when they were. But there's not really children in this card here. And you can't really tell if she is the maiden, the mother, the crone. I mean, she doesn't look like the crone here, but the crone has a lot of wisdom. There's also a bunny, so there is something fertile, and it's interesting. There's figs there, and they do represent the male testes area, so there is a balance somehow between masculine and feminine. There's also grapes of abundance, and she's got a rose, like a corsage, around her bicep. You have all these roses over here. So, and there's a little cherub bringing her a bundle of wheat, which is a harvest, which is abundance. So let's just say she's growing a garden, and we're going away from the pregnancy thing. She knows how to get the seeds or gather the seeds, plant that field. She can do it on her own, but she's patient enough to know she can't force something to sprout before it's ready. She knows to allow nature to take its course. And, she has the strength to even harvest that shit herself. But then she's not just going to get the harvest. She's going to do something with it and continue that cycle on, because she's the one that lasts. She's the one that somebody wants to be with because they see that she has constant growth. She is wise. As long as she's not upside down, I still feel she's somehow divine upside down, but she got disconnected somewhere along the way on how divine she is. How powerful she is. How much she has to offer. And sometimes I still feel like she's beautiful. If she is upside down, it can still be because she has great emotions and a gorgeous heart, but doesn't realize she may be trapping somebody or trapping herself, perhaps by overgiving to the wrong people, or allowing energies in that don't nurture her or truly value how freaking phenomenal she is And that is a lesson of self-love, big time. But that's also somebody that's connecting to their higher self, to source. Because that's where the most divine insight and wisdom and intuition will come in. So that's the foundation. That's why something is changing, or this is who is changing, or this is who is sparking or inspiring change. To move forward, to get back up. And it looks like somebody here with this Knight of Pentacles, somebody's gathering some knowledge. Somebody is opening up the book to that story and not skipping to the end or judging by the cover. The Knight of Pentacles is an earthy energy. It is somebody who, I mean, there's coins here. So somebody could be saving something up, looking at finances in a different way, checking the books. But this is also somebody who knows how to go out in the field, get on the horse, mosey along, or book it. It's somebody that has forward movement or wants experiences because it's the night, but it's not the quickest night all of the time. Sometimes this is a night that kind of like, because it's earth energy, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, but if it's more like a Virgo energy and they're the hermit and they're going to the cave, I always feel like the Knight of Pentacles doesn't get enough credit all the time because people want to see the money. They want to see the finale. They want to get to the end of the book. They don't realize all the effort and work it took to get there. They didn't just win the race out of the blue because they didn't do anything. There was a lot of training that happened in the gym, in their yard when you weren't looking. This is somebody that's waking up and doing the push-ups in their bedroom. And you're like, how do you have, did I say something about her bicep? This is somebody that you're like, oh, maybe they just have that natural bicep. No, they worked for it. I mean, maybe there's something in the genetics that is kind of like, extra helpful, but this is somebody that usually works for what they have. They do it step by step over a long period of time because they know something's worth it. Even if they have to grow up a little bit because it's still a night, but they'll grow up the more experiences they have. If this night is upside down, they're probably in anxiety, or I don't know why I saw a pole in the middle of the ocean and a boat that's trying to get somewhere. And they're like, oh no, I'm totally moving. I'm totally moving. I'm totally moving. But they're just going in circles. Because the Knight of Pentacles upside down I see as imbalanced, giving too much, offering too much in one area of their life, but then sitting in their head or in their feels and wishing it were going somewhere else where they felt constantly renewed and plugged in. Or it's somebody that's complacent, lazy, doesn't get up. They have all of that knowledge there, all of the potential to build something, to grow, to, I don't know, here to get to the Empress. Maybe the Empress isn't even there, but it's he or she meets the divine feminine along that journey. But I see it upside down, somebody kind of like not getting off the couch. And it's like the divine is giving you like, hey, that thing even we showed you on the TV or the tube, maybe you should try that. Maybe that'll bring you joy. And the person just doesn't believe in themselves. Or they allow others with funky energies to continually get them off of their balance or their divine connection, because maybe there's somebody that even could be full of chaos or drama and they feed off of that anxiety or worry. And maybe that even is what throws this person who's generally pretty grounded and balanced off the course. So maybe there is definitely somebody whoever this is, needs to have that self-reflection, self-awareness, stop comparing, and change of perception. You believe you're stuck in the cage, you're never going to get out. But perception can be, maybe the bird likes the cage. Maybe there's lots of toys in that cage. It's pretty fun, but they want to get out and like stretch their wings every once in a while. And maybe somebody else's perception is like, that cage sucked ass. Once I get out of that cage, I am building a nest in the tree and I'm going to feel what it's like to finally be free. Everyone's perception can be whatever it is. I'm getting free will now. Can we get one more? Yes. I just don't know what. Do I have the universe? Let's get a message from the universe. I should get little jingles for the different cards. It's funny, my mom always had little songs for every one of the animals and her daughters. We all had a song. Maybe somebody does that. I don't know why I just thought of that now. It's kind of cute. All right. Message from the universe. Was that the same song? All right, let's get a final. Wow. Message from the universe that really wants to talk to you, but what is it saying? No matter what happens, no matter how far you seem to be away from where you want to be, don't stop believing. Never stop believing. Oh, I just thought of the song. Oh, it's sassy. I did get a little bit of sassy energy over here with that sensuality thing. I did think of the Brazilian girls. Don't stop now. Just keep on going until I come. I'll let you interpret that. Until I'm coming. All right. And never stop believing that you will somehow make it. Have an unfreaking relenting belief that things are going to work out. And that long road has had a purpose. We're not all meant to be on a life of shortcuts. Sometimes we need that scenic route. Sometimes we need our book to have some interesting or gray or deep or, you know, whatever chapters. I don't know why I heard divine. You know, otherwise it's the life of vanilla. It's not a very interesting story. You do have this guy opening the book. So I feel like wherever you're going, you're going to kind of head to that 70 and sunny part of your book, but utilize the weird parts and use that to prepare you to handle the next adventure a little bit different. With this, I bid you adieu. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Rose, do you want to come up and say goodbye? Come on. Told you she was here. She's a sleepy puss. She was sleeping in the fancy chair. We love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving this reading a thumbs up. I do really appreciate it so much. Thank you. It does help this channel. I am trying to figure out the whole algorithm thing. By the way, I have found out recently there's a totally different algorithm for the long readings and the shorts. And since I started this channel and I only had long readings, I have like that group of subscribers from back then, but when I came back, YouTube doesn't seem to push it out there. And it seems like I have not a lot of new, thank you everyone, new subscribers that love the shorts, but they're missing out on the good shit here. In my opinion, because this is when you find the connection. But I know there's also people that have very short attention span as of lately in the old TikTok world. But I don't know. I really appreciate those of you that are loyal here and get to be with me and Rose and all of us to really see how these readings flow. And I appreciate you so much. Thank you. I love you so much, and I look forward to seeing you soon.